Hello everyone, I welcome you all once again in this important program that AIATS Plus 2025, and this is the phase 2. In the previous session also there were several discussion with respect to the various topics, and in the continuation I am Nidhi Panwar, your chemistry faculty here in the session. Please join as soon as possible because we are going to explore important topics of the chemistry, some chemical kinetics, simultaneously the chemical bonding and the molecular structure, the very first chapter, that is some basic concepts of chemistry, structure of atom, and the periodic classification of elements. So these are the chapters, those I am going to take over here, and with respect to that, the important questions also I will be discussing. So very good morning, people started joining, very nice, very good morning all of you. Join the session as soon as possible, and till then I'll be telling you about the paper that's already been done, but we'll be taking the questions, we'll find out the portion in which generally students commit error, and that error is not because of the non-understanding, that is because of sometimes time management. It may occur that you know the concept, but while attempting question you made a mistake, so we just try to eliminate the chances of mistakes, right? Okay, so this test was AIATS Plus 2025 phase 2 mock test number 4, the code was B, and examination was conducted on 9th of February. So question practice is something which gives us confidence, and simultaneously we find out that what is the pattern, what type of questions are there, and how to attempt a question in the prescribed time limit, right? So what we will be doing, we will be solving question, and simultaneously we will be looking at underlying concepts. Okay, please ज़्यादा question कराना इसके. Okay, chemical kinetics में ज़्यादा problem होती है. Got it. So we have to just look at the questions which are present there, and definitely I try to take most of the questions based on chemical kinetics if present the paper. Otherwise also I'll be taking some of the important topics. Okay, right. So very good morning everyone, very good morning. Let me just begin the session. So whenever I'm talking about Kanchan, Vishnu, Kumaran, Dashrath, everyone, a warm welcome to all of you. Let's start the session. Okay, now have a look on the question which is there on the board. I hope it is clearly visible to you all. So if any issue you find with respect to the visibility of the question, with respect to audio or video, you may just mention there on the comment section, and simultaneously with respect to chemistry also, you find any difficulty, you can mention there. I try to resolve all your worries and the queries. Okay, now let me just take the question. The question is, if 3.011 into 10 raised to the power 21 molecules of urea are present in 100 ml of aqueous solution, then the molarity of the solution is. So question is not difficult anymore. Very good morning Ishani, Anjali, Xenia, everyone, very good morning, very good morning. And the session is AIATS Plus. This is personalized learning for ultimate success. Why personalized? Because one by one, you know, this is the series which is based on the diagnostic test. Simultaneously, after analyzing the problems, we conduct the mock test, and in the mock test there are the questions which are entirely based on your exam, the NEET exam, right? And definitely if you are attempting well, if you are getting good marks, if you are trying to eliminate the error, then definitely on the D day you are going to perform good, right? Okay, so there is Lavina, good morning, Music World, very good morning, and let's move forward with respect to the question as well. Good morning, Pankaj, Mukesh, Ronak, everybody is joining here. Vishal, very good morning. Okay, so the question is based on the simple concept which is the concentration term. And which concentration term they're talking about? Molarity, right? And what are the things which are given here? The first thing, that's a number of molecules and the volume as well, that 100 ml aqueous solution, this volume of the entire solution. Okay, SK Bharti, so I'm, okay, so you are doing intermittent discussion, so I'll be taking the question. Okay, so the question is about molarity, the concentration term, how to proceed for the calculation of the molarity. What you want to know in this case, you should know the number of moles of solute, the first thing, and you should know the volume, and this volume is of the solution, not of the solvent, and it needs to be there in liter, right? This is how we calculate, very good morning, this is how we calculate the molarity, right? Now, if I'm just looking on the question, what I found that number of moles are not given. But how to proceed with it? Because we have the number of molecules, and the simple way to find out the number of moles from the number of molecules is just write the number of particles, which are molecules here, and divide it by Avogadro number, isn't it? Okay, the simple thing. Now, number of molecules you already know in the question. This is 3.011 into 10 raised to the power 21 divided by the Avogadro number 6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23. Simple calculation, right? Study Empire is writing right answer as 2. Very good. Let's see. So 1 by 2 it is. It means this is 0.5 into 10 raised to the power, this is 10 to the power 23, so it becomes 10 to the power minus 2, or the number of moles becomes, directly I am taking it, rather taking something else, I will be taking the number of moles. Now, how to calculate molarity? The formula I have already told you, the molarity is equals to number of moles, right? Volume of the solution. So, volume of the solution is already mentioned here, see, 100 ml divided by 100, done, but it should not be in milliliter, it should be in liter, right? So, 10 raised to the power 3, I've just divided by 1000, right? To solve this, how much it would be? Rahul, no, it's option 4. Option 2 is not the right answer. Study Empire, okay, you may be the good emperor, but you have to work more, right? Some calculation mistake you did. Option is 4th option, right? So, Sultana, Sahin Sultana, right? Option 4 is the right answer, 0.05 molar. Done? So, right answer is option 4, undoubtedly. But suppose I'm talking about the similar type of question, Amrita, right. Option 4 is the right answer, and I hope those who have participated in the examination, they attempted it well to get the +4 marks, right? Internal choices are not there, so it's important to attempt all the questions correctly. Now, instead of molarity, suppose the question was asking, it just asks you to calculate the molality, then what you need to look at, definitely in that case also you will focus on the moles of solute upon mass of solvent, and that should be in kg. I hope you know that, right? Good morning Rakesh. So, the simple thing for the calculation of molality and molarity, other concentration term I hope you know, the mole fraction, this is temperature independent, it does not depend on temperature, it is the unitless concentration term, right? What it represents? It represents the fraction of the constituent which you are considering in a particular solution, right? And that we represent by the symbol chi, everybody is aware I hope. And suppose you have a solution in which two components are there, A and B, then chi A if you are calculating, then you have to take the number of moles of A, number of moles of A plus number of moles of B. Right? It's not necessary always the binary solution you have, maybe there are 3-4 more components are there. So, in that case, all the sum of the moles of all the constituent, and with respect to the main constituent that you are considering, for which you are calculating the mole fraction, right? So, simple concentration terms are there. One more term is important, that is mass percentage, right? Sometimes it also comes. So, you will find the question with respect to this also. So, Sahin Sultana, you are in 11th standard? Are you? Okay. So, mass percentage, how to calculate? The weight of solute upon the total weight of solution into 100, right? Okay. Now, in this continuation, suppose I'm giving you, I'm just going to tell you about the change in concentration terms, okay? Suppose a question is given that you have 1 molal, the molal is represented by the small m, right? 1 molal, even it's written this way also, aqueous solution of a particular solvent. And it's been asked to find out the mole fraction. It's important for the partial pressure also. Yes, beta, absolutely. It's for the calculation of the partial pressure also we use. So if you know the total pressure and you know the mole fraction of the substance there, then multiply both of them, you can calculate the partial pressure of the species in case of the gaseous mixture. Right, Sai Sultana? If you have a solution in which gaseous components are present and you want to calculate the partial pressure, then you have to multiply the total pressure with the mole fraction of the species. Okay? So, can mole fraction of the solute A change with the temperature? So, very simple thing, Kumaran, you asked a good question, and I have just told you that mole fraction is temperature independent, right? Because while calculating mole fraction, you are focusing on the moles, and mole is the mass per molar mass of the species. None of these species are going to change with the temperature, right? If your concentration term has volume in it, that would be temperature dependent for sure. But if it is the quantity in which only mass is there, mass will not be changed by temperature. Right, Kumara? I hope your query is resolved. Is it? So, the question that I was just asking you here, that 1 molar aqueous solution you have and you have to find out the mole fraction. Now, how would you proceed? Whenever you are talking about 1 molar aqueous solution, the one thing is pretty clear that you are talking about 1 mole of solute. Am I right? You have 1 mole of solute. Okay? Yes. So, okay. So, 1 mole of solute you have. Now, this is 1 molar solution. It means the mass of the solvent is 1 kg. And what's the solvent in this case? Just identify. 1 molar aqueous solution, then definitely the solvent is water, right? Because it's an aqueous solution. So, water it would be. So, moles of solute you have, and you have mass of solvent as well. So, what would be the moles of water here? How to calculate? Given mass, that's 1000 kg, so I am changing it into gram, 1000 gram divided by molar mass of the water, that is 18 gram per mole, right? So, moles of water would be 1000 by 18. How much it would be? Nearly 55.56. So, these are the moles of water present there. Now, mole of solute you have, mole of solvent you have. Easily you can calculate the mole fraction, isn't it? Mole fraction of both solute and solvent could be calculated. Let's see. So, suppose mole fraction of solute you are calculating, then it would be 1 mole divided by total number of moles present in the solution. So, it would be, it's a very common question with respect to your NEET exam. Just solve this. So, this is the mole fraction of solute, and simultaneously if mole fraction of the solvent is asked, then what you will be doing? You just subtract it from 1, because the sum of the mole fraction of all the constituents is 1, right? So, in this case, suppose someone asks you to find out chi for the water, then 2 things you can do, either 55.56 divided by 56.56, or you can subtract 1 minus 1 upon 56.56. This is how you can find out the mole fraction. So, this is just a simple revision of concentration terms. Any doubt with respect to it? Anything you want to ask? Sai Sultana, you wrote there 55.5. You are absolutely right. The mole fraction, if you are calculating for water, then moles of water you need to calculate. For 1 kg of the solvent or 1 kg of the water, moles would be 55.56, right beta? Done. Shall I move forward? I hope you have just revised it. I know this is the simple concept that you have studied in the chapter 1 of class 11th and even in the 1 minus chi, right beta, 1 minus chi, sine sultana. So what I was telling you that in chapter solution also these concentration terms were there, right? So the concept is pretty simple, but you have to apply because every time you find questions from the concentration term in your NEET examination. Done? Okay. So I'm proceeding with the next question, and you know what I took here, the question, just check this question. Chi 1 plus chi 2 is 1. Absolutely right, sine sultana. Okay. So this is the question which is not from this AIATS plus program, but this question I just took from last year's NEET examination. Year 2024 has this question in the examination, right? So if you have checked the PYQs, previous year questions, I hope you know this question. This is simple one, and this is based on the reaction stoichiometry. Okay, let me just check this question. 1 gram of the sodium hydroxide was treated with 25 ml of 0.5 molar HCl solution. So what are the things which are given? You have sodium hydroxide and HCl with you. These two are mixed, it means being treated there. Rahul Ahlawat, you are writing limiting reagent. Yes, this is the question based on the stoichiometry and the limiting reagent. And the very good thing about this question is they have already mentioned that the mass of sodium hydroxide left unreacted. So definitely this sodium hydroxide is the excess reagent. Rahul, am I right? Sodium hydroxide is excess reagent. And what is the limiting reagent now? Rahul, sine sultana, the names which I am able to read right now, Dashrath, Kumaran, anybody who can just tell me that what's the limiting reagent now? Definitely if two reagents are there, two reactants are there, one is excess, then definitely other is the limiting reagent. That will limit the rate of reaction, that will limit the amount of the product form, better to say, right? So now in this reaction, the reaction is sodium hydroxide, that same question I have taken from the NEET 2024, reacting with HCl, okay? What will happen? Neutralization reaction, sodium hydroxide, very good Abhishek. Water is formed, simple reaction, the simplest reaction, even there is no need of balancing as well. So NTA asked you the question, yes, HCl. Abhishek, sodium hydroxide is the excess reagent and study empire HCl is the limiting reagent, right? Because when I am just looking at the question that they have already mentioned that sodium hydroxide left in unreacted, right? So in itself in the question they have mentioned it, okay? Now in this case, sodium hydroxide, the given quantity is 1 gram, right? And if I am talking about HCl, this is 25 ml 0.75 molar. So that I am writing here, 25 ml 0.75 molar. HCl, right? And this is 1 gram. Done. This is given. Now, with respect to reaction stoichiometry, if I proceed, this is 1 mole of NaOH. It means 40 gram of NaOH it is. 40 gram per mole is the molar mass of NaOH. So 1 mole if you are taking, it means 40 gram quantity you are taking. Am I right? Okay. Please explain this question again. So I'm explaining Rakesh, don't worry. The question is 1 gram of sodium hydroxide you have taken, allowed it to react with HCl, both of these reacting, then you need to identify the mass of the sodium hydroxide left unreacted. So to solve this question, the simple thing you need to know that two reactants are reacting to produce certain product, and that product is NaCl. NaOH react with HCl, NaCl is produced and water is produced, right? Now one reactant, sodium hydroxide, it is 1 gram only. The other reactant, HCl, that is 25 ml 0.75 molar. So its quantity also you have, right? Now the next thing is you need to find out the mass of sodium hydroxide which is left unreacted. It means this is excess reagent and you need to find out that how much excess it is left. The simple thing, okay? I hope you understood the question. Now let's proceed. So I have written the equation, I have mentioned the given quantities as well, and now I am working with the reaction stoichiometry. NaOH you have, that is 1 mole, reacting with HCl, that is also 1 mole. Not this one, I don't need to use this arrow. So 1 mole of HCl means how much mass? What is the molar mass of HCl? That is 36.5 gram. Done. So this is this is something that you are getting from reaction stoichiometry. Quite helpful while calculating the amount of the product formed. Okay? Yes, okay. Now what? This is the quantity 25 ml of 0.75 molar. It means from this I can calculate the moles as well as mass of HCl. Right? Right, Rahul? Absolutely. So moles of HCl, molarity into volume, and that volume should be in liter. That's why I've just divided it by 1000. These many moles of HCl you have, right? So simple to say that 36.5 gram of HCl reacts with, I'm applying the unitary method. In case of stoichiometry, the simplest thing that you can do is application of unitary method, right? 36.5 gram of HCl is reacting with 40 gram of NaOH, so that we can find out the amount of NaOH reacted. Then we will find out the amount of NaOH in excess, okay? So the mass, these are the moles of HCl. These are the moles of HCl. Then what would be the mass of HCl now? This would be, I'll just cut this way. This is 40, right? 25 fours are 100, that's why. So 0.75 by 40 into 36.5. Moles into molar mass will give you the mass of HCl. So this is the mass of HCl that we calculated. Now just place here, just compare here. 36.5 gram HCl is reacting with 40 gram of NaOH. Then 1 gram would be reacting with 40 by 36.5, isn't it? So that much amount, that 0.75 into 36.5 by 40 gram HCl. Why I am not calculating it? Because this everything will cut this way. Dekhna. What happens? So 40 by 36.5 for 1 gram into 0.75 into 36.5 by 40, right? So this is something very pretty about the NEET examination, that they don't want to check your calculation that much, while they just want to know that how much you are good at application of the concept, right? So let's check. See, this will cut this way, 36.5 cut this way. How much is left? 0.75 gram. I have to rewrite NaOH. So this is the mass of NaOH which has been reacted with HCl, right? It's utilized during the reaction. Now how much is left? Just check the question. So in this question, 1 gram you have taken, and out of this 1 gram, 0.75 gram reacted. So the left amount is this only. How much is left now? 1 minus 0.75. How much it is? 0.25 gram. This is the left amount, right? Now check the options. But in the options, quantity is given in milligram, not in grams. So change it. Multiply 1000 to it. 250 milligram. Easy question? Simple question, easy question. Only the application of the concept correctly, then you will get the answer easily. Okay, so by just looking at 0.75 gram, don't mark option 1 as the correct answer. You have to read question clearly and carefully. Okay, right answer is 250 milligram. And definitely while solving previous year question, if you are attempting well, then definitely it gives you another type of confidence. Then definitely I am prepared for the same, right? Okay, I'm moving forward by just taking the next question. The question is number of electrons, protons and the neutrons present in phosphorus. The isotope of phosphorus is given here, and what they're asking, number of electron, proton and neutron, the simplest type of question. The simplest question, though in the previous years also such type of questions being asked. So every question in the NEET exam is not that difficult, right? You will find such type of question as well. So you should know the concept. Now electrons, if I'm just looking at any species, we write atomic number here and the mass number here, right? And this atomic number gives us the number of proton, and if the species is neutral, there is no charge in it, then that is equal to number of electron as well, right? So proton and electrons both are 15-15, right? So this option is looking correct here. Now the third thing, neutrons. So mass number minus atomic number or the number of proton will give you the number of neutrons. So 33 minus 15, the simple thing, that is 18. So neutrons these are. Clear? Done? Yes, yes, Sahin Sultana. Navneet, right beta, absolutely right. Option 2 is the right answer. Now this type of question can also be given in the form of ions. So instead of giving you normal the phosphorus atom, they can give you the phosphorus ion as well. They can simply write there that this is the phosphorus isotope in the form of ion, 3 minus ion. So in that case, 3 electrons would be increased. This 3 minus is representing the addition of electron. Done? I hope you know. Okay? Now, a very simple question I have taken here. Now I have to move forward. Okay. Another question. Eka aluminium. Remember Mendeleev's periodic table? The first periodic table in the form of the this type of tabular form, right? And the origin of the modern periodic table was done on the basis of that, though it has several flaws, but it gives us an idea that what type of alignment of the elements we can done on the basis of atomic number. Previously it was done, Mendeleev used the atomic mass, but later Moseley used the atomic number for the creation of the modern periodic table or the long form of the periodic table. Okay? Eka aluminium, yes. So question is Eka aluminium. Eka aluminium is always gallium, undoubtedly. And very true, beta. Rahul, you wrote answer correctly. Fourth option is the right answer. Suppose instead of this, if the question is Eka silicon, then what is Eka silicon? Navneet, Rahul, Rakesh, Sahin Sultana, anybody? What is Eka silicon among the given options? Eka silicon. No, the Eka aluminium is gallium. Eka silicon is what? Rakesh Bharti, absolutely right. Everybody is writing correct answer for this question. But what I am asking, what is Eka silicon? So Eka silicon is, right Sukanya, Rahul, yes, very good, germanium. Germanium it is. Okay. Right, Navneet. Right. Everybody. Study Empire is also writing correct. Navneet, Sahin Sultana, Sukanya, Bikram, everyone is correct. Very good. Now another question from the same chapter. What are the elements which are known as trans-uranium? Ikra, very good Ikra. You joined now, I think. Okay. So we are discussing the program that is AIATS Plus, and we are discussing some of the important questions in which students generally make mistake, though this is the simple question, but still it confuses us. So don't be confused. Utilize all the knowledge that you have gained so far, revise everything properly, and then attempt the paper, right? Okay, Rakesh. So my another question that I'm just going to ask here, that what are transuranium elements? Transuranium elements, the elements which are placed after uranium, right? After uranium, after the elements, the uranium with the atomic number 92. Very good, beta, very good. Any example of that? Plutonium, Neptunium, right? Why I am asking? Because that could be one of the possible question that you can find in the mock test, you can find in the papers which you are performing, right? 92 to 103 after uranium. This is the test number 4, Pragati. This is test number 4, which was conducted on 9th of February, bacha. Okay? Now, such type of question could be there, like representative elements they can ask. Right, Neptunium is the answer. Yes, study empire, you are right. Okay, what are representative elements? Representative elements are the elements belonging to which block? S block and P block, right? S block and P block elements are representative elements, okay? The same way as chalcogen, pnictogen, halogen, these terminologies are also used. So the third chapter is though very simple, but the basics of the chemistry with respect to several physical properties and the chemical properties you will find there. So go through with that chapter as well. Yes, Sukanya, absolutely. Now I'm taking the next question. Question number 49 we have, right? The question number 49, which was there in your AIATS Plus paper number 4, code B, okay? Yes, yes, study empire, Navneet, everyone is writing correct. Rahul, you are right as well. Now I'm moving forward, okay? I have another question. The ratio of the number of the sigma and the pi bond in ethylene molecule. This is again the simple question. Ethylene molecule is, what is ethylene molecule? Is this the correct formula? Pnictogen are the group 15 elements. Yes, absolutely right. Pnictogens are the group 15 elements, nitrogen family, right? And the important thing, Rahul, that pnictogens start with the P, just like pneumonia. Okay? 5:1 is the answer. Great. The ratio of the number of sigma bond to the pi bond, the simple question it is C2H4, you have 2 carbon atoms are bonded together, and because it is ethylene, ethene, it means the carbon-carbon double bond is also present there, and only 2 carbon hydrogen bond at this carbon and 2 carbon hydrogen bonds at this carbon. This is the structure, right? 5:1, study empire, Bikram, C2H4, yes, not C2H2 beta. Okay, so sigma bonds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sigma bonds. So 5:2. How many pi bonds? The 1 pi bond. 5:1. The simplest question once again. So not all the questions are difficult. We find the easy questions as well. Okay. So answer is option 3. Now I am giving you the question of the similar type. You have benzene, right? And now in this case, find out the ratio of the sigma and the pi bond. Navneet Kumar Singh, third option is the right answer. Absolutely right, beta. Rahul, Vikram, study empire, everybody is right. Sahin Sultana. Now my question is different. I have a benzene ring and you have to find out the number of sigma and the pi bond in this case. How many pi bond we are looking at? How many pi bonds we have here? Simple, 3 pi bonds, the double bond, right? And how to find out the number of sigma bond? Just check. So carbon-carbon sigma bond you are able to look at 6, right? But carbon-hydrogen sigma bonds are also there. Done? So the question can be asked in different ways by just giving you the different question, 12 sigma and the 3 pi bonds. Okay, Bikram. Right, Sukanya. 12 is to 3. 12 is to 3. So 4 is to 1. 4 is to 1 would be the answer. Right? Okay. Shall I move forward? By just taking the other question, Okay, then now we have another question where you have the two statements. So this is a very good pattern that NEET examination has. Statement type of question, you have assertion reason type of question you can have, and simultaneously you have simply the statement type of question, right? You have to just check whether the statement is correct or not. Okay, that is a simple thing that needs to be done. Okay, Science Sultana, Study Empire, everybody is writing the right answer. I understood that you have studied well because that question was pretty easy as well. But definitely the question can be there with respect to the species which you don't know. Suppose they can just ask you to find out the number of the sigma in the pi bond in case of vanillin. Then you should know the structure. Then only you can proceed. Okay? Chaliye. Now question number 50. You have the two statements. You have beryllium Be2 in the diatomic form. Beryllium is given and they are saying that it does not exist under normal conditions. So answer is fourth one. Statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. Okay. Diksha is writing that option 4 is correct. Okay, Bikram, how to avoid silly mistakes in this type of question? So by reading the question carefully, without just looking at the question and directly marking the answer. No, that not need to be done. Read every line of the question carefully. Okay, Rakesh, you have to focus on the question which is mentioned there. And for the same, you have to practice well as well. Why this mock test series is important? Why we always prefer to solve the previous year question? Just to avoid such type of silly mistakes. Because when we solve plenty of the question, then we understand that how to read the question, how to mark answer correctly. Okay, beta? Now, let's focus on this Be2 species, Be2 molecule. So, how to look at this? Everybody is writing correctly. Which theory we need to apply here? MOT, molecular orbital theory, right? Good morning, Sumit. Very good morning. So, what we were doing, we were discussing the questions from the AIATS plus series. But second statement is incorrect. Why it is incorrect, that I am going to tell you, Sahin Sultana. Okay? I am from Aakash Institute. Good, good, Sumit. So, while you are just looking at the existence of the species, more specifically the diatomic species with respect to your syllabus, then we have to look at the molecular orbital theory, right? Very good, beta. So, Be2, beryllium, is the species which has the atomic number 4, right? Please tell that which chapter we are doing. So, Sumit, we are not doing exactly the chapter. We are taking the questions from the AIATS plus program, and those questions in which students generally make silly mistakes or they do not apply concept correctly. So, we have taken some of the questions from there. Are we doing chemical bonding? Yes, I have taken this question from the chemical bonding, beta. Sumit, this time we are focusing on the chapters chemical kinetics, chemical bonding, periodic classification and structure of atom, and simultaneously some basic concepts of the chemistry as well. So, those chapters I have taken. Okay. So, Be2 when I am talking, then total number of electrons which we need to fill in the molecular orbital are 8, right? So, configuration simple, sigma 1s2, sigma anti-bonding 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma anti-bonding 2s2. How to find out the bond order? For the existence of the species, you have to just look at the bond order of the species, right? For this, if I am just calculating the bond order, how to calculate bond order? What's the formula? Half of the electrons in the bonding MO. How many electrons are there in the bonding MO? 2 plus 2, 4, right? Minus anti-bonding. So, anti-bonding also 4. 0. If bond order is 0, bond order cannot be negative. And if bond order is 0, then the species will not exist. Simple? So, this species, how this species will exist in the normal conditions? Will not exist. Okay? Now, NB minus NA upon 2, right sign. B2 bond order 0, hence no existence. Absolutely right, Bikram. Absolutely right. Sumit, bond order 0. Yes, absolutely right, Rahul. You all are, mentioning it correctly. Only the thing you need to apply, just mention it correctly there in the examination, okay? So, the first statement that states Be2 does not exist under normal condition is correct, though you have already identified the same, okay? So, yeah, the next statement, according to molecular orbital theory, C2 contains only, one sigma and the 1 pi bond. So, do remember B2 and C2 are the two molecules which contains only pi bond, no sigma bond there, okay? And now why it happens? Because suppose I'm talking about C2. C2, how many electrons needs to be filled? 6 in 1 carbon atom. So 12 electrons we need to fill in MOs. So initial 8 we have filled this, we need to fill this way, right? Now after that, this is same here. Now after that, pi MO we need to fill. So pi 2px and pi 2py with a similar energy, and 2 plus 2. How many electrons we have filled? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? B2 is isoelectronic species, ma'am. This is PYQ of year 2021. Isoelectronic species we compare. If we have number of species with us, isoelectronic means the species which have the same number of electron beta, right? So suppose 2-3 species are given, you just count the number of electron and then you can find out whether these are isoelectronic or not. And one more interesting question from this chapter is the species with, the given species are isoelectronic and they have the isostructure as well, they are isostructural as well. So that could be the question, PYQ from the year 2021 if you are talking. So there was the question also that isoelectronic and isostructural. So isostructural means they should have the same structure, right? And sometimes what they ask, they just mention there, the species should have the same hybridization as well for to be the isostructural, right? So be ready for such type of question. Iso means same, structural means structure. Iso means same, electronic means number of electron. Okay, beta? Now, so while we were talking about C2 molecule, we have the valence electrons which are entering to the pi MO, right? And pi MO take part in the bonding to form the pi bond only, right? The same ways if I'm talking about B2, in case of B2, the valence electron, the last electrons are filled in 2px and 2py, pi 2py I should mark. What I did? Pi 2py and 1 electron each. So in this case also, the single bond is formed and that is pi bond. Done? So in C2 molecule there are 2 bonds formed and both are pi bond. Okay? So here if you just look at the second statement which is saying that C2 contains 1 sigma and 1 pi is absolutely incorrect, and you all good people already know the answer, and this is very good thing about you. You have revised. Sometimes what happens if we are in the class 12, we focus on the board examination, so we just leave cis and trans structure same. So cis and trans are the structural, are the geometrical isomers beta. Okay? So those structure, if you draw in the 2D, you find that similar it seems, but in 3D, right? If you are just looking at the structure in 3D, then you find that cis and trans are not same. Okay? How to find that there any p pi, d pi or p pi bond in a molecule? So Rahul, I got it. So what you are asking that how to find out the, so availability of the orbital decides it, right? If a species you are considering, suppose I am talking about carbon, and if someone asks you that whether p pi, d pi bonding happen here. So carbon, oxygen are bonded together. There is no possibility of p pi, d pi, right? But instead of carbon, suppose sulfur is there, then there is the possibility of p pi, d pi. Okay? Done? Okay, Sumit, you are in class 11th. This, okay, good. So Sumit, you joined the session. Great, great. So definitely you find the questions which are there in your syllabus. Okay. So I can remember something. So you just remember that. That's why that is only you can attempt the paper. You have to remember. Okay. Now, so what I did, BE2 we understood which answer we even got, that statement 1 is true, statement 2 is false. Okay. Now I'm moving forward. One more question with respect to this. Here you found the bond order. Then you proceed for the answer. Suppose I ask you that find out the bond order, PO bond order in case of phosphate ion. Who will tell me? Rahul, Sumit, Maverick, Sahin Sultana, anybody? Anybody? What's the bond order of PO bond in phosphate ion? How to calculate it? Just let me know. So suppose a question of this type you found, where the central atom you have and surrounding atoms are same, then what you need to do? You have to just draw the structure of the species given. Okay. So I have this phosphate ion. What I'll be doing, first of all, I'll be drawing the structure of it. This is phosphate ion. Is this the correct structure? Anybody just mention there? I want the answers in the chat. That is why I would find that you all are listening. Okay. Phosphate ion, yes, this is the structure. Right, Sahin Sultana, you have to look at the structure that I have drawn here. If you know the structure, you can find out the bond order. PO bond order has the simple formula that I am going to use here. 0.75, 1.33, not 1.33, 1.25. Bikram, you are right. Sumit, you are also right. How? Just count the total number of bond in the species. Yes, Sumit, you are right. Count the total number of bond. Just count. Divide it by total number of the sigma bond. Okay. Actually, what you can do, you can just draw the resonating structure as well. With the help of that also you can calculate. But in this case, not Sukanya, no one bond order. Bond order would be total number of bonds divided by total number of sigma bonds. Now just calculate total bonds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 these are divided by the total number of the sigma bond. How many sigma bonds are there? Bikram, Sukanya. Sukanya, you wrote bond order 1, but it's not 1. Total number of bond you counted 5. Darshan 1.25. Good beta. So total number of sigma bond are 4. 5 by 4 is 1.25. Am I right? This is the bond order. This is the bond order. Done? Right? Just write there if you got it. I can do it same for, I just erase this just to get the space. Okay. Now next, suppose carbonate ion you have. Find out the CO bond order. 4 sigma, right Sukanya? Rahul, Sukanya, Sahin Sultana. Parnika, ma'am, can you explain example regarding p-pi, d-pi bonding topic? Yes, yes. Let me proceed with this. Parnika. Okay. I'll be taking questions there. Suppose sulfate ion if I'm talking. So there p-pi, d-pi bonding is possible, beta. Parnika, sulfate ion you have. Okay. Carbonate ion you have here. What's the bond order in this case? This type of question had asked many times in Aakash term for fortnightly test. Even there was the question on carbonate ion. Yes, Bikram. So just tell me the answer. If you know this, just let me know the answer. So once again, we have to just look at the structure. CO3, 2 minus. Done. This is the carbonate ion. Right, Rahul? Sahin Sultana, 4 by 3. Okay. So total number of bonds. Total number of bonds 4 upon sigma bonds 3, 4 by 3, 1.33. 1.33. The homework question I'm giving you. Just try this also. For the sulfate ion, calculate the SO bond order. Central atom sulfur, 4 oxygen atoms are surrounding and 2 of the oxygen atom has negative charge. Sulfate ion you have. Just calculate the bond order in the homework. Till then, I proceed. Okay? Everyone good. Very good, very good. Everybody is writing correctly and this is what is needed. This is what is needed. Whatever you are learning, apply it to solve further questions. Okay? So, question number 61 from the topic chemical kinetics. Though the question is pretty simple. The rate law for the reaction is represented as, rate is given. I am writing here. R is equals to K A raised to the power, A is the reactant, its active active mass is given here, 1/2 is the power that's been raised, molar concentration, and this is also 1/2. The overall order of the reaction. What is order of the reaction? So, if you are in 11th standard, then definitely it can be a difficult question for you, but it's a very simple thing. Order of a reaction is the power of the concentration of the reactant. You just have to look at the rate law expression. 1.5 is the bond order for sulfate ion. You calculated, Vikram. Great. Okay. So, order of the reaction, if you're just looking at, this is the experimental quantity, first thing. You cannot identify bond, or you cannot identify the order of the reaction by just looking at the species. You have to look at the rate law expression, right? That's the experimental quantity, okay? And this order is actually representing the powers and even the sum of the powers, I should say. Sum of the powers raised to the concentrations of reactant or reactants in the rate law expression, right? And rate law expression we find by simply using the experimentation, right? And order of the reaction is the experimental quantity. Instead of that, if someone asks you the molecularity, so molecularity term comes for the elementary reaction. But if the reaction is occurring in the various steps, in that case, molecularity will not be applicable. We look at the order of the reaction. And the order of the slowest step, the molecularity of the slowest step is the order of the reaction, okay? But that we need no need to look at. We have the rate expression, rate law expression for this. And Sukanya, Bikram, order 1. Definitely. This is the rate law expression. This is rate constant. Concentration of both the reactants are mentioned and they are raised to the powers half here, half here. So, rate of the reaction with respect to A is half. Rate of the reaction with respect to B is half. And the overall rate of the reaction. Overall rate of the reaction is dependent on first power. Rehana order 1. Right. Very true. Order is half plus half, that's 1. First order reaction it is. First order reaction, so option 2. Okay, what is the unit of K in case of first order reaction? What is the unit of K in first order reaction? Just let me know. Time inverse. Suppose it's second, so second inverse, minute inverse, hour inverse, right? That's for the first order reaction. Clear? Now I'm moving forward by just looking at another question which is based on the mass percentage. I'm not going to take much of the time because this is a simple question you can easily solve. If the mass percentage of zinc ion in a biomolecule is 0.04%, then the minimum molecular mass of the biomolecule will be. So this is the question which is based on mass, not liter inverse, beta Rahul, second inverse, per second, Vikram. Okay, good. Not liter. Okay, yeah. So mass percentage of a biomolecule, zinc in a biomolecule is given. So what this value gives tells me? It tells me that if the species has 0.04 gram of zinc ion, then the mass of the biomolecule is 100 gram. This is something which you understood from the percentage only. Am I right or not? If such type of question is given, the percentage is given that represent 0.04 gram zinc is present in 100 gram, right? Now, suppose you have a biomolecule, then at least one zinc atom or the one zinc ion would be present, right? And one zinc atom or the ion would have the mass equal to its atomic mass. 65.4, right? So instead of 0.04 gram of zinc, its mass 65.4 is present in the biomolecule. Then what would be the mass of the biomolecule in that case? If 0.04 was present, with respect to zinc, then the mass was 100 gram. But this time it would be unitary method once again. 100 by 0.04. Multiply it by 65.4, right? So this would be by 4 into 65.4. So this is the turn. Just to let you know the answer directly, if you solve this, then you find 1.6 into 10 raised to the power 5U. This would be the molecular mass of that enzyme or the biomolecule, right? See, why I am taking the unit U? Because the molecular mass they were asking. Instead of that, if they ask you to find out the molar mass, then gram per mole would be the unit. So these are the small things you need to know, right? So Sahin Sultana, Rahul Alawat, Study Empire, Bikram, everybody, Rehana, everyone who are present there in the class, I just request you, all of you, please keep revising the concepts those you have already studied. And you have to attempt the previous year questions and simultaneously the mock test series. So in that, this AIATS Plus series is very, very helpful for the student as well. But you can practice with the help of the previous year papers. Okay. So now keep preparing, keep learning. My best wishes with all of you. Thank you so much.